You know, if you've ever been in a temple across East Asia, you've probably seen a serene statue of a goddess holding a book and a brush. But who is she? Well, today we're diving into the incredible story of Zhusheng Yangyang, the celestial registrar who, according to tradition, manages every single birth on Earth.
Just think about this for a second. Imagine a single cosmic ledger, a book that has the name of every single person who is ever going to be born. Who gets to be the keeper of a document that powerful?
Well, according to a tradition that goes back centuries, the answer is her. She is the divine registrar, the celestial bureaucrat in charge of life itself, and it's her job to meticulously record every soul headed for the mortal world.
All right, so let's properly meet her. Who is she, and what exactly does her divine job description look like?
So Zhusheng Yangyang is the goddess who oversees, well, the entire process of bringing a new life into the world. If you see her statue, she's usually holding that book of life, the master list we just talked about, in one hand, and her brush in the other, all ready to register the next new soul.
But how did she get this incredible role? You might be expecting a gentle, kind of motherly origin story, but her path to divinity, it's something else entirely. It's actually rooted in this epic tale of war, vengeance, and a surprisingly humble weapon. Her story actually starts not with one goddess, but with three powerful immortal sisters, Yunxiao, Qiongxiao, and Bixiao. Now, in the classic novel Feng Shen Yanyi, their brother gets killed in a huge celestial war. So furious and grieving, the sisters go looking for revenge, and they are armed with this artifact of just incredible power. And it's from their story that the legend of Zhusheng Yangyang is born.
And this weapon, it was called the Huyan Jindo, or the Golden Dipper. It was so potent, it could literally capture and neutralize even the greatest gods of the time. It was the ultimate weapon in this divine conflict.
So what are you picturing? Some kind of epic sword? A mystical staff? Well, whatever you're thinking, you're probably wrong. Its true identity is likely the absolute last thing you would ever guess.
Okay, here's the wild twist. The Golden Dipper, this fearsome weapon of war, was the divine form of the Jingtong, which was the humble basin used for childbirth that also doubled as a toilet. The symbolism here is just so profound. The idea that the purest new life comes from the most mundane, even unclean, of places. This one detail completely reframes the sisters' story, turning it from one of revenge into one of creation. Their weapon of war becomes a sacred vessel of life.
And that whole transformation from warrior to creator, that leads us right into a role today. She didn't just end up overseeing birth, she became the ultimate divine family planner.
Honestly, the best way to think about her job is like a celestial one-stop service for everything you could possibly need when it comes to having and raising kids. Her portfolio is incredibly comprehensive.
Her job covers the entire journey, from start to finish. It all begins with helping couples who want to conceive, then it's on to guarding the mother and child through the pregnancy, and then overseeing a safe delivery. But she doesn't stop there. Her duties continue, watching over a child's health all the way until they turn 16 years old.
Now, as you can imagine, managing every single child in the world is a massive job. So, of course, she doesn't do it alone. She runs a whole divine department, and she's assisted by a group of specialists known as the 12 Grannies, or Shi'er Po Jia.
And these aren't just, general assistants. Each granny has a super specific job. There's a granny in charge of nursing, another one for bathing, one who helps a child learn to walk, and there's even a specialist granny for soothing babies who cry too much. It's this incredibly detailed system of divine childcare. Okay, so let's say you wanted to ask for her help. How would you go about it? Well, this brings us to one of the most beautiful and symbolic traditions associated with her, speaking through flowers. It's a ritual called Huanhua, which means flower exchange, and it's basically a color-coded language. By offering certain kinds of flowers, worshippers can tell the goddess exactly what they're hoping for without ever having to say a word.
The code is really simple, but so elegant. If a couple is hoping for a son, they offer white flowers, like white lilies. And if they're wishing for a daughter, they bring red flowers. It's just a direct, beautiful way of expressing a really deep and personal wish.
And the symbolism gets even deeper. There's this ritual called Yi Hua Jie Mu, which is kind of like grafting. In this tradition, a family's children are seen as a flower bush. So a family that maybe has several daughters might ask the goddess to metaphorically graft a white flower representing a son onto their red flower bush.
And all of this brings us to a really big and maybe the most important question. In our world of modern medicine, why do these beliefs still hold such a powerful place in people's hearts?
Well, part of the answer is that her whole system is seen as being, well, fair. The tradition says that in her Book of Life, a family's good deeds and their moral character really matter. Being a kind, helpful person can actually earn you a VIP waiting number, which might improve your chances of being blessed with a child. It really connects faith with this call to live a good life.
But that still leaves the big question, right? In an age with IVF, ultrasounds, and all sorts of advanced prenatal care, what role is left for a goddess of birth? Where does this ancient faith really fit into our modern lives?
And maybe the best answer is this idea of psychological insurance. The journey to start a family is just filled with so many uncertainties, things that science can measure but can't always soothe. So the belief that there's a compassionate, powerful goddess watching over you, that provides a sense of peace that is simply invaluable.
When you get right down to it, the story of Jusing Yangyang is about so much more than just rituals. It's about our very human need for hope and for reassurance when we're facing life's biggest mysteries. And it really leaves us with a question to think about. In our own lives, what timeless traditions do we turn to for comfort when we're up against the great unknowns?